Hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated. That was whack. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated. Whichever. I went back and watched some old videos, and I did melanated so differently when I first started doing it, and I was like, oh, it's really evolved in 2 years. All right, so it is noon on Wednesday. We are doing morning tea. Welcome to this episode of Morning Tea, where we sit in our sleepwear and discuss current events. Today's tea is black tea from Starbucks, English breakfast. It has a little bit of whole milk in it, and it's good. I also have water because she is dehydrated. Okay, so we have 6 people in the room, 1 like. If we can get some thumbs up, that would be awesome. That's going to help other people who are combing these live streets find my live stream. So if you can give it a likey like, that'd be great. Okay, so I know the thumbnail was deceiving. It had me with a wig on, but it's just too hot, so I had to take it off, put the hat on. All right, so let's jump right in. It is noon. Let's look at my notes, and we can start to discuss what's going on. Hi, Amara. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody joining the room. Bo St. Rock, Tabitha. What's up, what's up, what's up? Okay, so I don't know if you guys have heard about the Ayesha Curry situation. I know it happened last week and it was just so long ago. I did a live on Instagram where I talked about it briefly, simply because it was so much easier to set it up on Instagram, the live, than come here on YouTube and set all this up. Yeah, so I'm sorry, looking over to the side. Oh, Amra, I did butcher it. Sorry, Amra. Oh, girls, sorry about that. All right, so anyways, did I say Loqueesha? Did I tell you guys I was talking about Loqueesha? I think so. All right. So anyways, there has been this movie trailer that has come out. I wasn't able to find the pure trailer, but I was able to find people reacting to the trailer. And the movie is called Loqueesha. And it is about a man, a white man, heterosexual, cisgendered white male who is unable to like get a job. He had this radio station or this radio idea, and he was unable to sell the idea of this radio station with him. And so he decided that he was going to create a character that would get his program off the ground. And I guess because he's a white male, nobody wants to listen to white males. And like right now, Black women are really hot. Like as far as like casting, like they want to cast a Black woman because it's going to bring in a diverse audience and, you know, whatnot, whatever things Hollywood is trying to like spin, or whatever is cool in Hollywood right now. And I guess it's a Black woman. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Sacramento. Yay. Thanks, Sheila, for coming. And so anyways, he develops this character called Loqueesha. So he calls in and he gets the job as Loqueesha, and you can only hear his voice. And then when he goes to the studio to produce it, his producer is a Black male, and who knows that he's obviously not a Black woman. And he goes in there and he just like, I guess, kills it. And the show becomes wildly popular. And the whole thing is that, you know, it's really a white man playing a Black woman. And the movie itself looks like a B film, right? It doesn't look like it's like a mainstream movie. It tried to say it went to like San Luis Obispo, like film festival or whatever. So it looks like a B-rated movie. Like a guy wrote this script and like somehow got the funds together to put together this movie. But people are upset about it because of the premise about a white man pretending to be a Black woman in order to be successful. So it's like this whole idea of, you know, the poor white male who like is no longer in vogue and pretends to be a Black woman in order to make money. And I know, I feel like I'm supposed to be mad about it. I feel like I'm supposed to look at this movie and be like, this is what's wrong with the world, and like, invading black women's bodies, and like, black women already have it hard, and here's this. Like, the movie itself looks like absolute trash, but the premise, like the movie itself, as far as like its filming and it's probably its structure and like whatever, it looks like it's a bad movie. But the premise of it, I think, is what is getting people upset or having them feel some type of way. And like, I don't know that I'm upset about it. I don't know that my initial reaction is to be like, ugh. My initial reaction is like, this is dumb. But it looks like it might be funny. Like if he does a like, it looks like his caricature of a black woman, which in itself, like in his current times, is probably like, fucked up, but it looks like it's gonna be funny. I don't know. I like it when there are people who play characters that are different races than them and you don't know it, like voice actors, like in the what's that show called, Cleveland, the Cleveland show, like the guy who's Cleveland's voice isn't black, and I think it's so funny. I just think that idea that this guy is doing the voice of a black man and isn't black. And there's another cartoon like that too, where there's three black characters, cartoon characters, talking to each other. And when you find out who they are, like two of them are black, but one of them isn't. And you would never know that this voice actor is not black. You would never know. I just think that being able to do that is funny. And so it's just funny to listen the trailer. But like I said, like, I don't know, like, why am I supposed to be mad about this? So I'm interested in like what other people have to say about it, because then maybe it'll make me go, oh, okay, I can see how someone would be offended. Like, I'm not saying just because me as a black woman, I'm not offended, doesn't mean that you should be offended. Like, you can be offended if you know what that is, but my initial reaction isn't to be annoyed. Now, I guess maybe if this movie made like a lot of money, or if it was like a mainstream movie, I'd be like, that's in poor taste, but it looks like a B-list movie. So let me see what you guys are saying. Oh, Jacqueline, thank you. I'm so glad you're happy to see me. Butterfill says it's blackface. Okay, maybe we did expand on that. Hi, Shani from Georgia. The basis of the movie completely infuriates me. Okay, Tabitha, tell me why. I haven't seen the trailer, but it seems extremely offensive. All right. So a low budget white Tyler Perry. I don't know. Like, it's just a trailer right now. I don't even know if it's an actual realized movie. It would be funny if it wasn't historically racist. Okay, expand on that. It's feeding into the black woman stereotype. Tyler is black, not the same. Tyler Perry productions are still stereotypical as F. Yeah, they are. So I have a hard time with Tyler Perry, but like, if you wanted to cast me in something, I would absolutely accept the job. But I have a hard time watching it because it's just not my black experience, It might be silly or fun or awkward for minorities. Have it more easy. It might be silly, fun, or awkward. Minorities have it more easy. Yeah, and I think that, like, to me, that line of it, if that's the line of it, like, here's the deal. I guess because it's more so like this one person who's having a hard time finding a job, and then he does this thing. Like, I can see why it would be offensive, but like I said, my initial reaction isn't like, oh, I'm pissed. I found it offensive because it furthers the idea that everyone has a sassy black woman inside them. Okay. All right, Tia. I don't want to see anyone not black or ethnic portraying a person of color. Okay, Ayesha. Okay, I could see that. All right. So I see what you guys are saying. All right. That's very, very much, very, very much valid. I guess for me, sometimes I'm like not able, but I think it's a lot of trauma, right? As black women, we have to deal with a lot of things in the industry. Like, I understand, like, for instance, I don't have a problem when non-black people wear braids or black hairstyles, which I put in quotes because I don't know how anybody would feel about that. I don't care. If I'm in the grocery store and I see like a Hispanic little girl with long box braids, like, I'm not like, oh, she's taking black culture. Like, I don't think that. I go, oh, in her community, like, there are girls with braids in their hair. And so, like, even if even if I'm not black and I see the girls, like, I might want that style. Like, I mean, I guess like I saw it from the opposite too, like growing up in an area that was predominantly Hispanic, like during the Cholo era, right? There are some people, black, white, Asian, who weren't Mexican, who weren't Chicano, who dressed like what I would consider dressed like a cholo or dressed like a chola. And like in my mind, I was never like, oh, you're taking someone else's culture. In my mind, I always thought, okay, it's a form of flattery. I'm not comparing this to the movie. I'm just saying, like, so in general, when there is like a high school girl who isn't black who has a weave or cornrows or something like that, I'm not upset with her. I don't think like, oh, she's culturally appropriating, because I think that is what's around you. So if you're in a culture where there are, if you're in a community or culture, you're surrounded by a culture where they do a certain thing and you emulate that, like you have bamboos because that's where you all go to the same place to get your jewelry. Like I don't go, okay, you're culturally appropriating, you're Hispanic or you're white, you can't wear bamboos, you can't have your hair in braids. Now, on a national scale, I think it's annoying when, like, if I don't know, if Taylor Swift were to all of a sudden come out with box braids, it would definitely be a side eye, right? Because I'm like, no, you have a platform, and in your platform, box braids or whatever, like Betsy DeVos would come out with a crazy wig. I'd be like, okay, so when a black woman does it, it's a problem, right? It's a problem in this field for a black woman to have her hair natural and curly. But for you to have your hair like our hair, it's fine. It's fashion. Like that is what I see a problem with. But the everyday Joe, the everyday Mary, like it could be just, they're what they're surrounded with, or they could just love that style and it's a form of flattery. All right. So what have you guys been saying? What do you think of that? All right. So white women started the braids when the movie 10 came on in the 70s. Yeah. What movie is this? It's called Loqueesha. I also think the movie looks dumb and low budget as hell. And if I found a fault in the premise, it would be non-POC thinking. Affirmative action gives us opportunities we deserve. Amra, absolutely. Yes. Yes. If that's the theme in there, if there's some kind of through line that's like, oh, well, now minorities have it easier, so I'm going to pretend to be a minority, then I would have a problem with that too. I don't want the messaging to be minorities have it easier. And maybe just because of the premise, that is already what the messaging is. And so I would have a problem with that. I agree. Hairstyle shouldn't be claimed for one culture. It's universal. Grace, I see what you're saying. But sometimes in the US, like because Black people have been put down so much that when the status quo or when the culture and power takes bits and pieces from the people who are being downtrodden because of that culture, it feels a little bit like, okay, so you want our butts, but you don't want us. You want our lips, but you don't want us. You want our hairstyles, but you don't want us. Like don't take our culture and then turn it around and make us feel shitty for that culture. Like I get that. Okay, so if you're gonna do it right. What is this? It's the person's character. Are they being their genuine selves? I think the person is putting on a character. He's putting on the act of a Black woman. So it's not so much they're doing their hairstyle, it's when they claim it's their own. I haven't experienced anything where people I've seen wearing braids and claiming it as their own. I haven't heard of that. Ayesha, exactly. I don't know what that means. Boss babe, you're fine. Boss babe, you're fine. You're not late. Historically, white cis men portraying bodies of color has led to harms of Black body. The reverse has never happened, i.e. movie Birth of a Nation. Okay, a Butterfill. Oh, a Butterfly. All right. I can see that. Jamie Fox or Grace Fox said, sorry, I don't know why I call you Jamie Fox. Grace Fox says, how do you mean? I don't know what that's a reference to. If you're going to do it right. Box braids, individuals, Black people don't say box braids. The Black people who do braids where I'm from say box braids, girl. So I don't know if that's a correct blanket statement. Latina, I'm a Latina from the Bronx and I love my bamboos. And I feel you, but then Monica, you're absolutely right. But there are some people, some Black people who live in communities where they don't have other cultures around them. And so for them, box braids are for bamboos are for Black people. I understand that it just depends on your community. Like I've seen bamboos with all races of people. It depends on the community you're in. If you have that kind, because you can't get bamboos everywhere, right? I don't know. in your place, but at least in my area, in my part of California, bamboos are only sold at 2 spots. If you want real ones, you're in the swap meet, and it's like you go into the swap meet and there's jewelry everywhere. Also, if you go into the hair supply store, the black beauty supply store, they'll have like the fake bamboos. So you know what I'm saying? So I understand that, but there are people who live in communities that see bamboo as specifically a black woman. Kylie says she invented wigs. Yeah, so that's a problem for me too. I wonder if you can buy bamboos in Iowa. That's so funny. What are bamboos? Girls, these are bamboos. You know, bamboo earrings, at least 2 pair, a Fendi bag, and a bad attitude. That's all I need to get me in a good mood, you know? All right. There have also been studies to show that Black women applying to a job with a name like Loqueesha are less likely to get hired. Oh, absolutely, Tia. Absolutely. So yeah, I definitely think you guys all have a valid point. I'm just like, my initial reaction, like, I just feel like there's so much trauma happening in the world of Black women that sometimes I can't be mad at everything, you know? And I'm not saying you're wrong or anyone's wrong for feeling that way, but I just can't be mad at everything. Like, I just am like, listen, let's see what it is. Like, if it's funny, you know, sometimes I can pull myself out of it. Sometimes it's offensive to others. And I think that we should be allowed to have like different opinions when it comes to things. If you're offended, like, absolutely be offended. But I mean, the movie itself looks like it's a B movie. So that was my only thing. No, it's not on Netflix. I don't know where it's going to premiere. I don't even know how anyone found the trailer. I couldn't even find the pure trailer, like on YouTube. I had to look at a reaction of the trailer to see the trailer, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I just have to choose my battles sometimes because it becomes stressful. Like, there's a lot going on. Like, let's segue into this next story about a Black woman who was shot and killed in Texas. And I'm not sure why. So this police officer was having a routine, I guess, check around the neighborhood, whatever neighborhood he was in. And this woman who the neighbors say she's gotten into arguments with people, but she's usually just walking around, walking her dog. And they say that, I guess it was an assumption that she had some kind of like mental issue. But the neighborhood itself was just kind of like, that was just, I'm going to say her name, Lisa. I don't know what her name is. Like, that was just Lisa. Like, she walked around with her dog. Yeah, she, you know, yelled at people. Yeah, she got into arguments with people, but it was never like a problem. It just was Lisa who walked around the block. And the cops said that he knew for a fact that this person had warrants out on them. So he did a routine check. Like, he stopped to do like a routine check. And I don't know what happened, but he pulled out his gun and he shot her. And witnesses say that she yelled out, "I'm pregnant," before he shot and killed her. So I don't know all the information around it, but it's like things like that, you know, and then people saying the new information about Sandra Bland and how she like recorded. I'm just like, sometimes it's too much. And for so long with Morning Tea, I would just talk about all the things that were happening, like Tamir Rice, Philando Castile. Like, I was just talking about all those things all the time. And sometimes like the trauma is just like, girl, it's too much for me. And I just can't be mad. I just can't be mad at things, you know? So I have to do more looking into that. Hi, Akiba. I think it's fake. No one would produce that. Oh, yeah. I don't know if it's real or not. Hey, Kimberly. That's why my mom named me Colleen. People are surprised to see my Black face. Hasn't the movie Medea made Black people look bad? I think it depends on your understanding, your Black community, right? For me, I think Medea is a little shameful, but if that is somebody's experience and they find it hilarious, and like, I don't know, like, I feel like Tyler Perry's a double-edged sword for me. Like, he keeps Black people working and he's creating, and I'm happy for him as a creator. And I think it's great that he's got all these shows and that he's doing so well and successful, and he's keeping, you know, Black actors working, other actors too, but like Black actors too, you know? And so I think that we always need somebody like a Tyler Perry to like keep us in work and stuff. But to me, it's problematic. But I think that we're moving into a different time period where, you know, Black people are allowed to do and be however without, I think I'm falling into what's it called? Respectability politics. I think that I'm judging Tyler Perry because of respectability politics, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so it's not necessarily mad. I'm more annoyed. I get that. I can't support Tyler Perry. Ayesha Lee came here. Same here. Okay. Yeah, I'm stressed out because of that trauma. Anyway, so let's move on to Ayesha Curry, since I saw somebody say, I agree, Ayesha. So Ayesha Curry last week was on Red Table Talk, and she talked about feeling some kind of way sometimes because all these women are throwing themselves at her husband, but she doesn't get that same kind of attention from men. And people are alarmed. And I think now that, we've had enough discussion about it to where people are starting to see her side of it. But it's just so interesting to me that when women get married, there's this like expectation that they shut down and they aren't like creatures who want to receive praise from strangers. and even like some of the men who were talking about this topic were saying that they would feel some kind of way if their wife said that. And I think, why? Like, married men or, people in general like to know that they're still desired. I think it's human nature. Social media is a huge part of that. Like, I think anybody who gets on social media and like presents themselves obviously like kind of want some kind of validation in some way, like, posting. I'm not gonna lie, and like sometimes I post a picture up on Instagram merely because I'm just like, I need uplifting, and if enough people like this, it's gonna make me feel good, and it happens. And I think that that's kind of in the vein that Ayesha was talking about. Does anyone have anything to say about that? You're right. You can't be upset with everything. Oh yes, it's just statement was taken so far out of context. Yeah, it really was. I want to be desired, but not by bums in the street. You got to be careful what you ask for. So I just think that, nobody, that's who, every time I go to the grocery store, hey, black lady. Or like, excuse me, you very beautiful. I'm like, thank you. Great. Thanks. Bye. And so, yeah, you don't necessarily always want that, but I think that, and one of the guys was actually saying that the reason why that might happen for her is because when women get married, for him, they automatically go off they compartmentalize. So he was saying that like he doesn't even look at Beyonce anymore and be like, ooh, Beyonce is hot. Like he's like, yeah, that's Jay's wife. So I don't look at her like that anymore. And I think that's so sad. Like that sucks that women have like go through some sort of kind of like castration when it turns out that they're married. Hi, Lynn J, welcome. So yeah, and she did say Tweety girl. Yeah, so she did say it came from a place of insecurity, but I mean, it all comes, I think, from a place of insecurity. So the fact that a regular person, so people are like, oh, she's married to this NBA star. She's got 3 kids. What else could she possibly want? When I found out that Ayesha Curry had been with him since she was 15 years old, I was like, that's a huge deal to only have been with one person since you were 15 years old. Like, I mean, imagine if her and Steph don't work out. And I'm not saying I'm not wishing that upon them at all, but I'm saying that she's known him for so long. And they've only known each other for so long. Like, I could see why she would want to, get some attention from some other guys. Like, even if it's unwanted, like to feel, desired. I don't know. Like, like that's a long time. I've learned so much about myself and like the things I like and the people I like. And I don't know, like, it's really long. It's a really long time. What did Tabitha say? Oh, blonde bae girl, since you were 14? It's crazy. Yes, exactly. Boss Bay says, I appreciate attention from professional men of substance. All the other men make me feel uncomfortable and harassed. Yes. Isn't it funny? How I'm just like, I want attention. And then you get the attention. And you're like, but not from you. No, thanks. I've been with my husband since I was 17 and I've had 5 kids and I totally understand where she's coming from. Yeah. I mean, girl, like, I feel like you just want to be desired. You're still a woman. You're still a person. You're still like, girl, how does she even know who she is besides like, how does she even know who she is as an individual with being with somebody for so long? Your whole identity becomes wrapped up in that person. That's such a scary thought for me because my whole identity is not wrapped up into anybody. All right. So what was this other thing we were going to talk about? Alabama abortion law. Oh my God. I know this might be like, I'm sweating. I know this might be very polarizing for a lot of people. I don't. Okay. So Alabama recently, the Senate in Alabama recently passed this bill that will only allow a woman to have an abortion if her life is on the line and or like, yeah, her life is on the line, I believe, or like there's going to be like complications with the birth and they find it early enough. Otherwise, not even if you were raped and or raped by a family member, are you allowed to get an abortion in Alabama. Now it hasn't passed because now it goes to the governor, and the governor has 6 days to sign it, and if the governor signs it, then it's going to go into law, which is against Alabama law, but then there's also federal law, which is Roe versus Wade, right? Which is a woman's right to choose. Ooh, I don't want to misspeak. I'm getting it all mixed up. I don't know if it's a woman's right to choose, but Roe versus Wade is the national federal law, right? And if enough states make it so that abortion is illegal, then it could be taken to the Supreme Court to have Roe versus Wade overturned and then put it into the state's hands. So what they want to do is make it so that the states, individual states can choose, which is a very Republican thing to want to happen, right? I don't begrudge states who want the right to choose. I begrudge states who put in policies that are sexist and that take away a woman's right to choose. And then there's now, like in other states, this idea of the heartbeat law. So like if a woman goes to the doctors, find out she's pregnant, and the doctor detects a heartbeat, then she's no longer eligible to have an abortion. But the pushback is obviously you can feel I think you can hear the heartbeat within like 6 weeks. So you would have to know fairly early on that you're pregnant in order to even be able to have an abortion. So, I mean, so senators, when they were arguing this fact, said, why would you take that away from a right of a woman who has been raped, or if it's incest? And the man's response, the other senator's response was that he believes that that any life that God chooses to produce, or the miracle that happens, any life that happens, has a right, and he's fighting for that life's right because he believes that God doesn't make mistakes. And so then the woman's like, but you don't have to take care of that child, you don't have to raise that child, you don't have to pay for that child, and you want a woman to be forced to do that based on what you believe. Like, and then she was like, so why are we going to have like a castration bill that goes by next for men? And so it was just like, I understand that religion informs people's decisions. I understand that, but I don't understand why you have to restrict everyone because of your religious views, especially if you don't have a uterus. Like men don't have to carry the children. So why do they get to decide what happens within a woman's body? Why do you get to put your level of morality onto everybody in your state? I don't understand that. So it's I mean, we're a lot of crazy things are happening. So I'm just going to go back and read you guys. Let's see. This is just disgusting. Why does the government act like it can't trust women with their own bodies? 20 years from now, I can't imagine the planet. I think Ohio is the same way. The interdimensional beings are in control. Okay, so there's a weirdo in here. Understandable, it's not the baby's fault. Alabama is a conservative state. I wonder what their stats are for teen pregnancies or adoption. Yeah, that's my thing is I just get so worried about the system, and there's a lot that happens when you have a child and you can't afford this child, or you have a child, you can't afford him, or you're not you shouldn't be a parent or whatnot. Like, I feel like a lot of minority children are stuck in the system for a long time, and the system itself kind of messes kids up. There are some kids who have okay experiences in foster care, but a lot of kids don't have the best experience in foster care. And I just don't think it's fair to force them to go through that because you know, yeah, I don't think it's fair. The rape and incest part is crazy. I mean, it's all crazy, but that is an extra level of like crazy. Absolute letdown for women. Abortion is the right that should not be taken away. Separation of church and state. I agree. Let's see. There's a lot about the baby till it's actually born. They care a lot about the baby until it's actually born. Yeah, I agree with that too. What do you call a vasectomy? I don't know who that person is. Is Josie Wells being okay? Men defend babies. All right. So anyways, yeah, that's all that I have to say about that. We're at 30 minutes. What else do you guys have to say about this? Not castration. I mean, that's what the senator, that's what she was arguing. I mean, she wasn't arguing it for real, obviously, but that was like the extra thing she said as a rebuttal. But I don't understand how you can stop somebody from doing something based on your religious views and make it the law of the land. But aren't Black people aborting the most? It has nothing to do with poverty. No, I don't know what you're talking about. And that was like a crazy thing to say. That's a crazy, crazy thing to say. People are, KH says, I understand it. People see it the same way as homicide is illegal if you think a baby is alive or not. Yeah, but like homicide is after the person is outside of the body, or and after like the person is like a person. Like I think you can't separate when a baby is in a woman's body. You cannot, to me, separate that. I think it's the woman, up until a certain part of the baby, right? Like for me, I think that the 3-month mark is the mark for me. After that, if you don't know you're pregnant, or if you don't know whatever, I don't think an abortion is like good. But I think that the fetus is a fetus until 3 months for me. So that is just how I break it down. Like I feel like, if you catch it by 3 months, then I think an abortion, you should be able to do it legally and safely. I think after that, if you really don't want the baby, then you're going to have to put the baby up for adoption. So, I mean, this is a hard conversation to have, like in this section, but somebody said that a baby is a parasite. So technically it is. Technically, I don't want to take like the life part out of it, but technically, with the way the human body is, a baby is a parasite. And a parasite is just what the technical term of the word parasite is. It is. So like, yeah, but I don't want to make it seem like I'm not being heartless about it. I think Miss Brittany is correct. And sometimes women's bodies react that way to babies. They will, which is but sometimes there are some women who can't conceive because their body sees the fetus or the embryo as a parasite. So that's why I say technically it is, because there are some women who that's what happens to them. And that's unfortunate for those women who want to have a baby. All right. So I think that's it. Exactly. LOL. It can't survive without the mom, and it sucks energy and nutrients from the mom. Yeah. All right. So I think that's it. Thanks, guys, for having this conversation with me. If you have any suggestions on topics for next week, go ahead and email me at justcallmewa@gmail.com. Yeah, and you guys have a fantastic week. I'm going to be out of town. Those of you who watch My Game of Thrones, I've already filmed it. It is not edited, but I will edit it today and tomorrow and probably put it up. Like I said, I'm going out of town, so I will have a lot of downtime. I'm going to Texas, and I'll be back on Saturday, but everything is going to be late. I have to film my 90-Day Fiance right after this. I want to take a nap, though. Girl, she tired. Whoo! Yeah, girl, I already talked about Loqueesha. I had a heart attack at 26 weeks. We almost died. Pregnancy is no joke. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the safe travel well wishes. You guys have a fantastic day, and remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. Oh, what does it keep say? Well, I've had a friend who's had miscarriages at 8 weeks, and they consider their baby not a fetus. I think it depends on the person, and I think you're absolutely right to choose however you want to think about it. All right. Bye.